Hey everyone, Caleb with Antique Book Collective. It's been a month. Obviously, a lot has happened. If you guys have been watching the channel any amount of time, you know that this background here is different. And unlike some fake booksellers, Mike the used book guy, my books are real back here. Obviously, guys, I am teasing. Mike the used book guy, he has a great channel. Be sure to actually watch him. He has great advice for those of you guys selling books. For me, I do the antique books. He does all the other books, more or less. Of course, as you guys can see, some of the books I have behind me are not necessarily going to be antique books. Let's see. So, oops. Apologies. I have my phone going so I can actually make sure everything's working. But as you guys can see, not all the books behind me are antiques. These ones right here that you can just barely see, these are just vintage. These ones, I believe, are just vintage as well. So they're not 100 years old just yet. But end of the day, a lot of these are antique books. In fact, I got a lot of other fun stuff intermingled throughout here for those of you guys that have been watching for a while. You've probably seen some of these things before. Apologies for those of you guys that are watching. Some ads will pop up. I put up as few of ads as I can. YouTube has a thing of you can do conservative, moderate, or extreme or something like that, and how many ads you throw on. I did as low as I could do. So apologies if you guys have things get interrupted. Honestly, feel free to ask for me to repeat stuff down in the live chat. So if you're on your phone, live chat's down there. If you're on your computer, I think it's over there. Could be over there. It should be over here, though. I don't know. It's above my pay grade. But with that said and done, though, guys, feel free to ask whatever questions you have down in the comment section, live chat, sorry. And sound is good. That's why I got my phone going. Again, it's so I can do sound checks. So if you guys do want anything, oops, there's my thing. I can actually hopefully be able to pull up my phone. That should be good enough for if we need anything to be pulled up on my phone for some weird reason. But again, guys, ask whatever questions you like. As I wait for some more people to get on in, when I don't expect a whole lot of people. It's been a month since I posted, so obviously there's not going to be a whole lot of people here. But as I wait for hopefully a one or two people to pop in, I basically I'm just going to address some of the stuff that's happened over the past month, why I've done the change. So long story short, my area that I was using, I had to move a whole lot of things around. That was sort of something that I needed to do anyways. And in addition to that, I've been needing some good shelving for a hot minute. And I got this shelving used for free. And in addition to that, it's allowed me to get so many books off of the ground because I've had piles and piles of books just I'm not even going to say organized, guys. It got so bad around here because it was just a mess with all the other stuff that I've had going on. But finally, I've got real shelves that go all the way taller than me. Luckily, I could still reach everything, but it's pretty close on some of these. But it's really fun. I've got all these books laid out. It was actually funny. I had, let's see, right here, I had a little stack of books, and all those ended up selling. Couple other books sprinkled throughout here, but it's nice instead of just having a few stacks of books behind me like I had in the old setup. I have like a good amount of inventory behind me now, so hopefully we'll be able to actually see some of these books go out and get moving as I sell them, because that's sort of what my business is. I sort of sell books, and with that old layout, it's like, wow. And that whole time I sold like 5 of those different books and sets of books. It was like, guys, I promise I sell books. Oh, but that's just the way some things work sometimes. Sometimes you have a bunch of other books sell, and other times, like let's just say this shelf right here, none of these might sell potentially anytime soon. It's just funny how that sort of works sometimes. With all that said, time to address the elephant in the room. So, guys, I am sure some of you are wondering, hey, Caleb, why are you coming back with a live stream after a whole month? Why not something else? Is there something really cool happening? Are you pregnant? No, guys, I'm a dude. Guys don't get pregnant. Duh. But excuse me, I'll be drinking a lot of water. I like my water. But guys, the reason why I chose to do live stream was actually because of the economic news that's been popping out. So if you guys been following the channel for any amount of time, you know that I do some economic update videos every so often. And well, we had some economic updates come from mainstream news for the first time in a long time, where they actually addressed some real facts, and it was actually a little bit shocking for me to be like, "Wow, you guys are actually talking about real things." who's paying you off to actually talk about the truth now? I mean, there's a saying I heard over this past month, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but it was something to the tune of people don't hate journalists as much as they should, or hate reporters. I don't remember which one it was, but it's because end of the day, a lot of journalistic stuff just it's not journalism anymore, guys. It is just straight propaganda, and they lie to you nonstop. And if you guys haven't put together how many lies you're getting told on a daily basis by the news, well, A, you're not watching the news like me. So I don't know how much I'm getting lied to because I turned it off because it was just lies. Or B, you really need to wake up because, guys, it's gotten pretty bad. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about whatever questions you guys may ask, and I'm also going to address a bunch of other stuff. So back to what I was saying, though, about the news actually reporting stuff that was pretty close to actually being news. So they finally started talking about the R word, recession, recession, recession. I saw so many headlines with it. I actually hopped onto, uh, guys, it was actually a little bit funny. So I saw this stuff breaking back on Friday. I'm like, oh, it looks like it's finally happened. And I hopped onto Fox and I hopped onto CNN so I could get both ends of the spectrum. And neither of them had anything worthwhile that I saw. And I was like, wow, this is really pathetic. And I also, maybe it wasn't that, maybe it wasn't Friday, maybe it was Wednesday, but some data came out that I was like, oh, wow, this is really important data. So I hopped on and they had nothing about it. And I was like, well, you guys have news about all these stupid things everywhere else. So nothing about anything actually important. With that, you guys are officially dead to me. So if you guys want me to watch anything on Fox or CNN or anything else, good luck. I'm done. I quit. They had one last chance with me. They had nothing important. So it's like, ta-ta, I'm gonna go watch literally anything else. I'll watch Keyboard Kitty dueling against Baby Shark if I have to. It'll be more effective than watching the news. But guys, with the economic crash stuff, the stock market crash stuff that we saw just happening on Friday and then it continued on Monday. But guys, lo and behold, it actually bounced back today. And I would not actually be surprised myself if it continues going up today, if we continue seeing the markets going up a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Potentially for the rest of the week, it might do that. But the problem is, fear has finally entered the conversation, guys. So there are a lot of people who will invest based on just fear trades. So if they see a whole lot of fear in the market, that's when they invest. If they see a whole lot of speculation and excitement in the market, that's when some people invest. Problem is, though, when you have too much fear, the average investor normally backs out, and that's if you guys know the Warren Buffett quote, when others are fearful, be greedy. When others are greedy, be fearful. So we're sort of seeing a situation where you have a lot more fear entering the market. So people like Warren Buffett and the other people like that, they're thinking, finally, it's my time to buy in. For me, myself, I've sort of been preparing for this sort of time since 2008 when I was just a wee little lad. I was like, well, looking at all this data that I'm looking at because I was a weird little kid in 2008. So let's see, I was 10 years old at that time. I was like, looking at all this. I heard something about this a couple of years ago, and I heard this thing about this other thing a few years ago. Let me do some research. And being the nerd that I am, the nerd I will always be, I realized that not only are recessions not the end of the world, but I also learned they happen quite often. So back in 2008, I actually started preparing as best I can. So as such, I'm hopefully going to be in a better situation than I otherwise would have been. And the reason why I mention all the economic update things in this YouTube channel, guys, is because end of the day, I want you guys to also be able to be prepared with all the stuff that I can do. So that's one of the reasons why I have time and time and time and time and time again wanted to err on the side of warning you guys ahead of time. So what my first economic update video talking about recession may be coming was back in 2022. Lo and behold, we had a recession, but the government said, actually, we get to call it a recession or not. It's not up to you. It's not up to the facts. It's up to us. And we would never lie to you. We are only looking for your good. So we're not going to lie. Obviously, that was a lie. That was a recession based on all the data that has ever existed going up until now. As far as GDP is concerned, that was a recession. They said it wasn't. It still was. They're idiots, honestly. That being said, though, with this most recent crash, a lot of people are saying, oh no, now we're in a recession. What about this? What about this? Recession, recession, recession. Problem is, guys, a lot of economists that I follow are like, we've been in recession. Some of them are like, we've been in depression. And I'm a little inclined to agree with some of these economists based on the data they're bringing forward, based on the facts they're bringing forward, not based on them being like, well, according to this new definition that we made for the word, it's not actually recession. It's like, no, based on facts, based on history, not based on we changed a word. Oh, aren't we cool? Which is infinitely frustrating. And honestly, it's demeaning to people. But with that said, do I personally think that we are in a recession now? It finally is broken. I think we've been in recession. The data I've looked at shows that we've been in recession, and the data that the government's putting out, they say it's good, and then they revise it, and it's like, oh, it's actually that's not very good news. Ooh, good thing they made sure no one actually heard about that because they released it as a revision and not as the actual headline numbers, which is what the mainstream media reports. Hmm. It's almost like they're not reporting actual news again. Imagine that. But end of the day, guys, that's the big part of all of the economic update stuff. If you guys have any pressing questions on any of that, be sure to ask it. Not a whole lot of people on the stream, and by not a lot of people, I mean there's one person, which is honestly me watching it on my phone, which again, guys, I sort of expected with this video. I'm not too shocked, not too sad, but it just means I can make this video a little bit shorter so I don't have to answer any questions. But with that said, honestly, I can just go on and ramble. I'm going to try to ramble a little bit if you guys allow me, if you guys stick with me, because this video has only been 10 minutes long so far. But if you guys, anyone pops in, be sure to ask your questions. In fact, let me drop that in the chat so it's a little bit fresher. Boom, just like that. Something that I mentioned in the chat, guys, is before this, to no one in particular, I actually said little piece of life advice, and that's coming from me, a young buck, but it's because I've listened to old bucks, and something that I just think is so valuable that people really just need to start doing. Sit down, put some seeds in the soil, and get a little garden going. I don't care if you got a little windowsill. I don't care if you got 100 million acres. Just plant something. There's something healing to your soul to, first off, get your hands dirty, but second off, to just watch something grow as tender and as pure as a plant. Of course, I would not recommend growing anything like the gimpy plant, which is also called the suicide plant. That thing is a little sketchy. No gracias for that. But I actually was gathering some stinging nettle seeds just a couple weeks ago during my whole break from this YouTube channel because I had a ton of stuff to do, had to take the break so I could actually get things going. Lo and behold, I got those things done, and I'm here. I'm back, and I feel fan-stinking-tastic. And it's not just because I was able to take a little sabbatical, if you will, a little bit of a break. It's because, well, I got to do some gardening. I got to dig a couple holes. I got to grow a few things. And it's been really fun, guys, just watching those things grow. It's amazing to be like, I put that in the ground and look, it's life. I mean, I know a lot of people say the same sort of thing about go and have kids because you'll never realize what you're missing out on in life, until you have kids. Obviously, I don't have kids yet. That is something I will be working on in the future, but I'm not married yet. So that's got to wait. But with that said and done, grow garden, guys. I know that as we're getting into recession, a lot of people get stressed, a lot of people will get scared, all that sort of stuff, but you plant a plant and you just commit a little bit of time every single day towards this small little plant. It just gives you something to do, something to live for. In fact, I don't remember where this came from, but I actually heard about some psychiatrist dude a while back, a few years ago is when I heard it. And I guess the guy back in the day, he actually gave a whole bunch of like people that had suicide and depression, all that stuff. He actually gave them different plants to take care of and actually helped them a lot because it just gave them that little something to work for, that little piece of life that they could actually take a part in and see something thrive. And that's a big reason why growing a plant is so important. What does that have to do with anything that I'm doing right here? Well, if you don't have the umption, to go out and plant a little plant and actually see that plant grow from a little seed into a little plant this big to a little plant this big to a whole tree sometime, if you don't have the wherewithal to sit through that, to put in the effort, you're not going to be able to buy this many books first off, and you're not going to be able to start your own business. You guys have to just sort of get those small victories going. Getting a whole business going where you sell antique books, That takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of failure. You will buy a whole lot of books that don't sell. Just look at this whole area behind me. All these books are books that haven't sold. Of course, they haven't sold yet. I still have most of them listed. This little stack here isn't listed. A couple of the other ones aren't listed. These ones here aren't listed because they're my books. I just wanted them back here because I thought they looked cool, and I figured I'd talk to them. Sorry, talk to them. That'd be weird. I'd talk about them at some point if you guys ever have any questions about some of that. But by and large, I mean, this business is, again, a lot of work. A lot of people are, let's just be honest, a lot of people are lazy and don't want to put in this sort of effort. They hear the figures that I put out of what you can make when you're selling books like this online. They're like, wow, I can make $100, I can make $500, I can make $10,000, and like, I'm gonna do it. And then they buy just one book right here, and they're like, Caleb, you're a liar, that book didn't sell for $1 million. Sir, you found that book in a dumpster. It's not going to be worth a lot, most likely. Of course, guys, I have seen some very valuable books get basically thrown away or donated or just tossed aside. So I'm not saying it's not going to be worth anything. I'm not saying you shouldn't dumpster dive if you know something's good. But end of the day, you're not going to get rich by selling one book more often than not. Of course, you might be lucky. You might end up like me and find that one book from Goodwill Outlet that was worth 30 grand at the time. And I think I sold it again. I think I sold it for like 6 grand. But I paid $2 for it. I think that's a pretty good money. So maybe you'll get rich, like, and you'll get one good book, but odds are you need to put in a lot of effort. For me, with that one book that was really stinking good, I had already put in a lot of effort. I think I was already a couple months into the business doing it for at that point before I finally found that amazing $30,000 book. I think it was, I had to have spent at least $3,000 by that point just buying books, getting the business started. Probably more like $5,000 though, for being honest. Of course, I'm just spitballing with that. But if you think about it, if you replay the numbers that I just gave you, if I sold that book for about 6 grand after eBay fees, I mean, that means that single book more or less helped pay for the entire business startup. And guys, I obviously spent a lot more than you guys need to start this business, but hey, end of the day, it's honestly up to you guys how you do it, what you do, all that sort of stuff, how you want to run your business. For me, I enjoy the struggle. I enjoy the effort of finding the antique books because the antique books are worth so much more. And because honestly, I love the history of it. And well, it's a little bit more of a hunt. I mean, if I'm just going around scanning, I left my Bluetooth scanner over there. Sad. But if you guys are just going around scanning different books, I mean, it's fine and dandy. You do find an occasional dime in the rough, but let's face it, I know you guys are going to agree to it because I know that I agreed to it when I started. There's like no skill involved with scanning things, no skill whatsoever. Like you're just bop, 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 bop. And eventually, guys, I know that a lot of us that have done the book scanning any amount of time, I don't do it a lot. I still do it sometimes though. I know eventually some of us are get to the point that we're like, oh, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. I know for a fact it's gonna be worth something because it's from this publisher, or it's about this one topic, or that one just looks a little bit different, and you scan it and it's like, oh, lo and behold, I was actually right, because eventually you do get an eye for it. So there is skill involved in that, and I highly recommend, if you guys are getting into the whole scanning thing, scanning things, I don't know, scanning world, if you guys are scanning all the barcodes to try to start your business, I highly recommend you guys just find the biggest bookstore you can that will sell to you, and like just scan everything, see what is worth the most, because eventually you will get that eye, and it's really important to get that eye. However, that same eye, that same, ooh, that looks like, yeah, that book's got to be worth a lot. That happens with antique books too. So all these, I saw them and I bought them, obviously, but a lot of them, guys, like this Charles Dickens set, actually, right here, right next to me. I've talked about this set before with you guys a lot of times, but this set right here, it was in a garage in a estate sale in a town called Redmond, Oregon. It's actually more on the outskirts of things, so I don't know if it was actually Redmond proper, but it was way out in the woods. I actually found the estate sale on either estatesales.org or .net, whichever one that is. But I saw these books just sitting like this, and as you guys can see, there was quite a few of them. Saw them just sitting there on a shelf, and I was like, having done the business having been in this business for a few years by then, I looked at those things. I'm like, oh, those books are definitely from the late 1800s. those things are definitely going to be worth a good chunk. And I walked up a little bit closer. And guys, when you find a set that big, you know for a fact that it's going to be worth something, especially when it's from like the 1800s like that. You know there's going to be a good value in it. And I got closer and saw it's Charles Dickens, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be worth even more. And guys, I have made the amount. So actually, I write my sticky notes what I spent for the thing. So for this entire set, I spent $10, and I have made my $10 back at least a dozen times over. I want to say I've forgive me as I'm trying to recall this, but I want to say I've sold at least $400 worth of books out of this set so far, because I've sold individual copies to different people who want to finish their own sets. It's funny, some sets, guys, like you're like, I've never seen this one before. You list it on eBay and someone's like, hey, I've had this set for my entire life. My grandfather before me, my grandfather before him, la da 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 da. And they go down and like talk about their whole life story. And they're like, we've been looking for this individual book our whole lives. Help us complete our mission, Frodo. And it's just like some epic story that you just took part in, and you're like, help the family finish their set, and another family and another family, and it's really cool just being a part of that. So that side of things alone, it's like sort of fun to be like, you better believe I'll break up this incomplete set that I have to help you finish your set. So for me, when I got this set right here, I actually this is important, honestly, for a lot of you guys that are doing this business. But when I bought the set, I had one copy missing. I want to say it was like volume 13, I want to say. And it was, I think that one was A Tale of Two Cities. And I was actually looking it up on eBay, and I was like, okay, I can buy that individual copy for $40. Let's see if it's worth the $40 for me to do it like that. And I was running the numbers. I'm like, no, it's worth breaking up this set. In fact, I made another video on breaking up a set of antique books in the past, for people to be able to make a whole lot more money. For this set here, I was like, I am not going to pay $40 to buy the individual book. I am going to break up this set. So I have the whole set listed as an individual listing, but then I have in it be like, if you guys want an individual copy, just hit me up. I will absolutely sell it to you guys. I think I'm selling the whole set on eBay for like $200 is what I have it listed for. But when people reach out, they're like, hey, I just need this one book or these two books. And I'm like, yeah, $20 each for the books, and that is a lot more than I'm asking for individual books as things stand. But a lot of people end up going for it, and it's really nice to have that sort of income coming off this set of books that, again, I've made my money back on many times over. Honestly, I could just donate these books to people, and they'd be happy. I'd be happy because I still made my money. But why would I do that when I can make some money? Because I put in effort, because I put in all the shipping, all the boxing, all the wrapping, all that sort of stuff. So I'm not going to work for free, because I'm a human being. I have dignity, and no one's entitled to the fruits of my labor. That's why communism doesn't work. And guys, yes, I just got political, and I do that in this channel. If you don't like that, go away. I don't care. It's my channel. With all that said and done, you guys, again, can ask any questions about antique books. As you can see, I got my antique books behind me. But with all that said, let me just dive into another reason why I took a month off of this YouTube channel. I'm sure a lot of people were wondering. No one asked, and I didn't expect anyone to ask, because I don't expect anyone to care about me, because I'm just a random dude on YouTube. But if any of you guys cared, the reason why I took a month off of this YouTube channel was actually because I started back in February. I started a different YouTube channel, totally different niche, has nothing to do with antique books, or at least I hope it doesn't. And I actually, on that channel, I started working on it. Within 6 months, I've actually gotten that channel monetized. So beginning of August, I finally hit the monetization level for it, which was fan-stinking-tastic. I was thrilled with that. And excuse me as I get a quick drink. Good water. But yeah, the reason why I took the whole month off was because I wanted to focus on that channel and on the 500,000 other projects. But I knew that if I kept on doing videos for this channel, kept on babying this particular channel, that the other channel would just take a little bit longer to get monetized. And I wanted to get that channel monetized sooner rather than later. And lo and behold, I did. And I was thrilled about it. And it's been really fun to watch just the money coming off that channel, because, guys, this channel, it's far from a moneymaker. It probably will never make me any good money. This particular channel, let's be honest. But the other channel, it's funny, within like 2 days, it's made more than this channel makes an entire month. And honestly, the other channel, I will not be surprised when it starts doing like $100 a day. Like it's absolutely insane how well that other channel is doing, and that's just because I do research on stuff and I learned what was going to do well, and I hopped in full force, and it's worked pretty well for me. So it's definitely been fun seeing actual money coming from YouTube instead of this channel where it's like 30 something dollars a month. Having something else that's like, oh, I'm pretty close to $30 a day with that channel, and I'm just 5 days into getting monetized on it. So it's like, yes, I will take that. I like my money. It's worth the effort. Unlike this channel where it's just effort, and it's thankless effort. Let's be honest. Fortunately, I do have some channel members, 2 of them. So I'm gonna throw out their names. Mike, the used book guy. Thank you for being a channel member, and let's get her actual account name properly so I don't actually butcher it. I believe it's the Wells Mama, though, is her channel name. I don't even know if she has an actual channel. Yes, the Wells Mama. Thank you also for being a channel member. Both you guys do help me make a little bit more money on this channel, which makes it a little bit more worth my effort. So thank you guys for that. There's a channel shout out for you guys. The Wells Mama, she does not have a YouTube channel herself, but Mike the Used Book Guy does. So be sure to check that out. If you guys do want to check out the Used Book Guy, you can actually close out of the live chat. So it's either there or there. Boom. But if you guys want to do that, you can actually click my channel. So the Antique Book Collective, you can click that, and then it should take you to a page for the channel thing. And then if you scroll on down, it'll actually have recommended reseller channels that I have, and Mike the Used Book Guy is on that. Again, highly recommend checking out his stuff. He's got great videos, great content, and it'd be very helpful for a lot of y'alls. With that said, though, back to the new YouTube channel that I started. I'm not sharing that because I don't share the names for like anything that I do, because this YouTube channel is totally and completely separate from everything else that I do. Like, I don't show you my eBay store name. I did once because you guys asked so much, but I don't share a lot of these things because I don't really want to get everything involved all convoluted like that. So the other YouTube channel that I just started just got monetized, that I'm thrilled about. It's a secret, like everything else that I do is a secret, guys. I am cagey, I am sketchy, I am a prepper, I guess. I don't know, but end of the day, I just wanted to share a little bit of the stuff I'm doing without sharing too many specifics. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, be sure to ask them in the chat. Let's see, is there anything else that I really want to get off my chest? I suppose I could tell you guys a little bit update on the saddle soap. Recently, I guess not recently, a few months ago now, I bought some saddle soap at long last. I've had a lot of people asking a lot of times, hey, can I do saddle soap on my books? Can I do saddle soap? Can I do saddle soap? It's surprising actually how many people have asked if they can use saddle soap on their old leather books. So let me just I don't want to grab that leather book. That one's soft. Come on, do I not have any ready? Here's a Bible. And I knocked everything over. A lot of people will have old leather books, and guys, leather books can get really stinking dirty. The leather gets really chewed up. When I first started loving books like 20 years ago, I was like, ooh, leather books, those are so cool. Having now sold antique books as long as I have, I'm really sad to say I don't love leather books anymore. Like, it is funny because the leather, it just crumbles with age because people do not take care of the leather. And even when you take care of the leather, it's a little too soft for how a lot of people love books. And by loving books, I mean like rough and tumble loving a book. It's like, yep, I accidentally dropped it down a flight of stairs because I was reading when I was going upstairs like an idiot. Like, that happens to us. And guys, cloth bound books just handle it a whole lot better. But I also love leather books because I still think it's classy and beautiful. But a lot of people ask because they get some leather books that get really dirty or the leather starts cracking, all that sort of stuff. A lot of people will actually go out and ask, and they're like, hey, can I use saddle soap because I have some saddle soap on me? I'm surprised how many people have saddle soap with them, but I guess a lot of people ride horses these days. I'm a little shocked about that. But I've done some tests. I know this is going to be a spoiler for when I do that video later on, but yes, you absolutely can use saddle soap on books. I would recommend finding one that is pH neutral and doesn't have too many chemicals, because chemicals are not good on your books. But big but here, guys. Do not use saddle soap all the time on your books. Just looking at the saddle soap that I've used on my stuff. It's good. It gets the job done. It cleans, it conditions. It's awesome. I love saddle soap. I've used it on my boots many, many, many times now because I was like, I'm going to test on a pair of boots before I test it on books. And guys, it makes stuff look absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it puts a nice shine on it. Again, it cleans it really well. I love what saddle soap does for stuff, but not in a million years would I use saddle soap on books every single, let's say, month or every single year or something like that. However often you guys end up oiling your books. If you guys are not oiling your leather books, be sure to start oiling them because, again, as I already mentioned, leather books, they crumble, they fall apart, that sort of stuff. So let me just pull out this leather one, the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia. So guys, just check out this right here. The reason why it crumbled like it crumbled, I mean, when you have whole sections come off like this came off, it's because it was not oiled for its entire life. It gets crispy, guys. It turns into, from soft, beautiful leather, it turns into a potato chip, and it'll just crack right off, and it's pretty stinking sad to see that sort of stuff happen to a book because books, especially old books like that, take a lot of effort to make, and a lot of people, they just will not oil the books, and the books fall apart because of that. So be sure to oil books, guys, if you want them to last any amount of time. Otherwise, you're going to have potato chips falling apart off of your spines, especially is what I find it normally chips off with. I've had other parts chip off as well. I don't have any books near me that it's had like parts of the front cover chip off, but I have seen that happen many a time. So with that said, do be sure to oil your books. And if your book, when you buy it, is absolutely and totally filthy, I'm talking like dirt on it, I'm talking not just cobwebs, I'm talking like dirt soaked into it, maybe even some stains. Yeah, you can use some saddle soap on that. It'll really help to get those stains out. And I know people are going to complain and be like, oh, but saddle soap's not used by museums. Well, guys, museums are dealing with beautiful books that were treated very, very well. They are books that they have doctored up and made look beautiful, and they're just trying to maintain that. When you're buying books like a lot of us are buying, you're not buying something that's museum quality. You're buying something that was in a garage, in the case of these books, in a basement, in the case of, I've had a few of these other ones that were from, oh, these Bibles right here that are a little ratty, from a basement. These ones here were stored in an attic area. Like, guys, there are so many books that get just totally and completely abused. You need to get these books up to snuff where they're actually going to be worth preserving. It takes saddle soap to do that sometimes. I've had people yell at me 100,000 times because I've used bleach on a couple of books that had pretty bad mold issues. Use bleach if you have to use bleach. I don't recommend using it if you don't have to, but use it if you have to use it to get the book up to snuff so it's actually usable again, because otherwise people literally are throwing these things away. I'm willing to put a little bit of bleach on a book if it means that book is not getting thrown away. I actually had a set of books. I'm going to do a video on it. I actually have them right over there in front of me. I have a set of books. I've been cleaning and watching this particular set of books for, I believe, 2 years now, just shy of 2 years. And this set of books, guys, when I got it, oh, I was like, this is going to be awesome for the YouTube channel. And if I can actually get these things good, it'll be worth maybe $100. So I'm putting in a whole lot more effort, a whole lot more time than the set is actually worth. But it's a set of Lincoln books. I thought they looked pretty nice, and they were destroyed, and they were covered in mold. It was nasty, and I was like, oh, doggy, this is going to be the test of the century. I'm going to bring these things back, and while they are not perfect, they are far, 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 far from perfect. This particular set, I've been able to bring it back from the brink of it belonged in a dumpster. Like, it wasn't even worthy of being burned in fire. It was worthy of being buried. That's how bad these books were, to like, wow, I would actually buy that on eBay. Like, that's how much I've been able to improve it. And I'm actually finally getting to the point that I'm like almost ready to sell them. Again, I've been watching them to make sure that everything's actually dealt with them. I wanted to kill all the mold. I wanted to take care of the leather. I wanted to get the leather not like a potato chip. I didn't want it chipping off. So I'm still trying to get the leather to the point that I'm satisfied. I think the leather was like far too close to a fireplace for a while, because I mean, it's not just crispy, it's like fire crispy. If you guys have ever had leather and had it really close to a fire, I mean, you know that it just denatures the leather and makes it so it's like it's impossible to bring back from the void. So I'm basically trying to still save that. But this particular set, guys, again, it had mold all over. So I I didn't use saddle soap on this particular one. Unfortunately, I didn't have saddle soap at the time, but I've oiled it with several different oils, and I've actually added some essential oils to the oils that I'm using. So I use mink oil, linseed oil, neat's foot oil, and did I say mink oil already? Lanolin. There we go. That's the last one. I use, and I on that set I actually did use those for oils in different combinations. I've shared what oils I use in what combinations in other videos. Be sure to check that out, guys, if you guys want to learn what oils I use, how, why, all that sort of stuff. But I use those on that particular set. And again, I used some essential oils on it. And the reason for the essential oils is they have some essential oils that are antifungal. They have essential oils that scare off bugs, all that sort of stuff. So you don't have to deal with bookworms, that sort of stuff. So that's why I added particular essential oils. If you guys want that, I will be making that in a video in the future. I have a lot more research to do because there's a lot of really cool essential oils out there. Something I really want to try out is to find a clove essential oil because I really want to experiment with that one and do some more research on that one. So hopefully we'll see some stuff on clove essential oil in the future because again, cloves are really cool. With that said though, guys, this particular set, again, it was moldy out of the wazoo. So I did use some diluted bleach on the book ends. So actually, let me just grab a book for this. So on the book ends, it was, I'm not just talking a little bit of mold, I'm not talking little spots, I'm talking Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had lots of hair. And it was blue, it was white, and I don't think there was any black mold on it. Maybe there was a little bit of black mold, but I mean, it was literally fuzzy. But when I got the books, I opened it up and saw that the mold had not permeated into the thing very much. It was literally just on the book ends. It looked like within a few years it had gotten wet. It wasn't like a lifetime of moisture exposure. I suspect it was, in fact, I can almost guarantee it was in a garage. The spines were all like face down on the things on the bottom of the box that it was in. So the spines, a lot of them actually got stuck to it and ripped off and were damaged beyond repair, which was really sad. Really sad. I'm still sad about it because the covers were really pretty besides that. But in addition to that, you could tell that it got moisture on the rest of it. So you actually had mold all over. So I cleaned all that mold. I murdered those books with ozone because, guys, I recommend, and I talk about this all the time, getting an ozone generator for your business. If you guys want to do this long-term in any serious extent, if you guys want to make thousands of dollars, it's worth $100 to get an ozone generator. Don't get it in your first month. Don't get it in your first year if you don't need to. But once you've done this for a while, once you've made good money on this business, get yourself an ozone generator because it is insanely awesome. It will take care of odors. It gets odors out of books so well. Like I am shocked every single time I do it. And ozone generators will also help to kill mold. So that's really nice. But once I finish cleaning the book's text block on the exterior, and I mean I cleaned it good, and then did it with bleach, I did it with alcohol, and I even went over it with a Clorox wipe. Highly recommend Clorox wipes, guys. Not other brands, it's just not the same. They don't work nearly as well in my experience. So please use Clorox wipes on your books. Don't use it all the time. It's dangerous chemicals, all that sort of stuff. It will damage your books, but when you're dealing with something like that that belongs in a dumpster and you're bringing it back from the brink, you're doing the Lord's work here, guys. You're doing the Lord's work. You got to do this to get the book back to the point that it's usable. I am sure there are museums that are cringing because I'm saying this, but again, guys, museums, they're not normally dealing with something that should be in a dumpster. They're dealing with stuff that was donated from this multi-million-dollar donor, and it's beautiful. It looks just like when they got it, and they're talking about how they keep it so nice. Well, congratulations. Sorry, it was nice. I'm dealing with garbage, guys. Literal garbage. So, when I did that, though, after I did that, I started flipping through the books because I kept all these books closed for the entire time because all the mold on it. I didn't want that mold getting into the actual book proper, onto the actual pages any more than it already was. So I made sure to keep the books closed until I was like, okay, I feel safe opening them. So I opened it up and I actually saw, I'm going to call it mold dust. It wasn't quite mold. It was just like, it seemed like it was dust that fell from the actual mold itself. But I went through and I was like, okay, it's on and I can literally shake it off. It didn't stain the pages, but I was like, I don't like this. So remember, I just said Clorox wipes are awesome. So I took my Clorox wipes and I don't recommend mixing chemicals that you don't need to mix. Let me just preface with that. But sometimes you can be stubborn and German, like me, a stubborn German, and you can be like, forget this. So I took my Clorox wipes, which I believe had bleach in them, and I added alcohol to it, which to my astute viewers is not something you should necessarily make. It's not necessarily safe to mix bleach with alcohol, but I mixed the two. I put a good amount of alcohol in it. Like, let's say there's normally like a puddle of this much stuff at the bottom of a Clorox thing. I added like this much to like for alcohol to make it like that deep. So it was like drenched little wipes, and then of course I rang them out until they were pretty stinking dry, and then I actually went through the entire book and I wiped down every single page, both sides of every single page, to make sure that there was absolutely nothing left, absolutely nothing bad, anything moldy left in that book. Of course, do not do that without doing any tests. I made sure I did some tests like on the page to make sure it didn't discolor, didn't damage, didn't make any ink smear or run or anything like that. Again, I made sure the towels were pretty dry as well, so it didn't make the paper wavy. But guys, this book was filthy. These books were filthy, so I made sure that when I went through it, that they were going to get the full treatment to be as sanitized, as clean as they possibly could be. So that was that entire effort for that. And again, I'll be doing a video on that particular set of books in the future, because those Abraham Lincoln books are pretty stinking cool, and Abraham Lincoln was a pretty stinking cool president. So there. But with all that said and done, thank you guys for watching. I hope that my random spiels were helpful. I hope that they were motivational. Hopefully it's a nice teaser to get you guys to get excited for the next couple of videos that I'll be making. I'm hoping to get back to releasing videos every single Tuesday. We'll see. It's just been a little bit crazy on my end of things because, again, I've got a whole lot of stuff going. Thank you, though, for watching. For those of you guys that are going to be watching the replay of this, which I'm sure a lot of you people are going to be doing. In fact, I was on the phone with a friend, Melanie. I did a video with her guys in the past. If you guys want to check out that video, it should be on, check my YouTube channel, go on to community, and then scroll on down, and I actually shared the video that she did with me. But if you guys want to watch that, go ahead. But I was actually on the phone with her just last night, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll be watching the replay," because I know a lot of people hate watching live streams. I hate watching live streams because I like watching all my videos on ×2 speed at least, and you can't really do that on a live stream. So I understand for all you guys that watch the replay, and for all y'all that watch the replay like me, drop your questions in the comment section below. I can totally address those things down there. Of course, if you are asking questions 55 years from now, I might not be replying to it. But if you're asking anything in the next couple of days, so long as I'm still alive, I'll be able to answer those. You're welcome, Sue B. Thank you for the comment. And with that said and done, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you guys like the new setup. I really enjoy having the books like this. It's fun being like hemmed in on both sides of books. It's like, yay, I'm actually a bookseller now. I don't know, it just feels a little bit more official. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and until then, bye.